beside anime or movies and video games, all of this, what inspired you to write Sistah Samurai?
Yeah. My mom and the people around me. Um, because, I love the fantasy genre, but I also didn't feel like the fantasy genre had given representation to just the, the people around me, like the mothers, the aunties, the uncles, like I don't get to see them in fantasy novels, and I wanted them in fantasy novels. So like even the character of Monique, she's very heavily inspired by my mom.
Good evening, Tatiana. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. We've been talking for 2 minutes. You've seen how upsetting starting an interview can be with all those apps and everything. But I'm very happy to welcome you on the Wuniverse today. Thank you very much for your time. Such a pleasure meeting, face to face ish. We will talk a lot about your book. I love your novella Sistah Samurai. We will talk about the others as well. Because you wrote what I guess we can call them two series, or at least you have 4 books, I should say.
Yeah.
So the Forging of Edge duology, which I haven't read yet, and then Sistah Samurai and Sistah Samurai: The Return. Is it? Those
Return
are
of.
the Return of Sistah Samurai. Those covers are so awesome. I love them. So I know you from Sistah Samurai. I haven't read the second one yet. I think it just came out a couple of months ago,
Yes.
3 months ago.
Yes, in June, so not too long ago.
All right, perfect. So, but before we talk about your baby books, can you tell us more about yourself and what got you to writing, and maybe a bit more about your books as well? Because, like I said, I don't really know a Forging of Edge. I haven't read the duology yet.
Yeah. So I'm definitely one of those writers who have been writing since I've been young, just very small, and kind of just grew up with it. And the Forging of Eight series, I actually initially wrote a version of that in high school. And by the time I finished high school, you grow as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back on it like, oh, I'm better than that now. I don't think, I kind of fell out of love with the story, and that happens sometimes. So after that I went to college, and I graduated international studies with a major in Asian studies, and that's where I learned Japanese, and I was not very good at kanji. I'm still working on my kanji.
You lived here a little bit, right? You did some study.
Yeah. I did study abroad in Tokyo. Actually, I went to Joshi Daikaku, so
Ooh,
that's where I
nice.
went to. And I also taught English a little bit in Korea as well. So I have been on that side of the world quite a bit. I really enjoy my time there. But in college, I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna have a little fun, write some fan fiction, write some kind of just things for me. And I think writing fan fiction was a lot of lessons, because that's the first time like I've showed my work to other people, and you do get a lot of feedback. Having anonymous feedback is very useful in strengthening and growing your craft. One of the things I always tell writers is if you want to grow as a writer, you have to show people what you've written, because you're never going to get that feedback. You're always going to be in your head. It's harder to see the weaknesses and the strengths without a sounding board. So after that, I kind of wrote more books, thinking of traditional publishing, decided not to do traditional publishing because I didn't think it was for me. And then COVID hit. And by then I was like, you know what? This is a dream of mine. I really want to do this. So I really set a goal I'm going to do this myself, because indie publishing at the time had become more viable. People were actually like making a full-time career out of indie publishing, especially like really big romance authors, fantasy authors. You're like, oh, okay, so this is possible. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy, because indie publishing definitely is not easy. But that's definitely the goal that I wanted to do. So when I did decide to publish, I went back into my A Forging of Age series, because I really did. Those characters that I had in my head since high school did not, some characters just don't
didn't
leave
go
you.
away. Yeah, no, they don't
No,
work.
No, so I was like, okay, fine. I will finally tell your story. So I definitely wanted, my goal was to write a story that was worthy of these characters that I've had with me for a very long time. And I knew that I wanted to debut with. So that's my Forging of Age duology. So it is a kind of like a YA sword and sorcery coming of age competition. So we have these young adults. They're in the desert, and in order to come of age, they have to go out and slay a monster. And so it really is very character driven, very about their
Hmm.
growth, but also, a lot of hacking and slashing because that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I am really excited because I am currently, my next project is going to be in that same universe, but like in the same universe, but a different area.
Wait.
So
That's going to be my last question. Don't spoil it now. We'll talk about what's next for
okay.
you. But no, I'm very excited to know that your next project is back in this
Yeah,
universe.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah,
And I must say, there's a lot of it's so fun to go back to our first projects, to the first thing we ever wrote, because there is a freshness to it. There's like this uncaring about, does it fit the narrative? Is it what people want to read? No, it's just about you, and it sounds, usually it looks
yeah,
better than we thought. Like
yeah.
if you started writing it, if you wrote it in high school, then you go to university right after, you feel like, oh, that was so immature. Then maybe 10 years later, you go back to it. That was like, well, there was a lot of good stuff about what
I
I
don't know.
wrote
I
back then.
scrapped that whole story.
Okay.
The whole story is gone.
I thought
I
you
didn't keep
edited it.
any of
No, no,
it.
no, no. You were like, I just
No.
like the characters, but let's start from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I started from scratch.
All
But
right.
that's also why I have like so much of the characters in the universe in my head because there's stuff like,
Mm,
oh, there's still so much stories to tell here. So like I'm not done with this world,
yeah.
but yeah, completely started.
Man, so much work. Like last year I published a trilogy, a Norse mythology trilogy, and that was
Yes.
like one of the first things that I wrote. Right, I wrote this before the books I published, basically, and I didn't start from scratch. I basically edited them so much it felt like I should have started from scratch. Like I think that would have gone
Oh
faster
yeah.
if I just wrote it from the beginning again. So.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
Smart. So that was a smart strategy from you. Yeah, really cool.
I don't know. It still took me 4 years to get the like new revised version complete.
Wow. No, I understand that too. All right. So then came Sistah Samurai.
Then came Sistah Samurai. Because at that point, right, I had a duology that is almost 300,000 words put together. And so I was
Mm,
like, you know what? I want to write something short. I want to write something fun.
yeah.
Let's I want to write something really black too. I was like, okay, let's do this. And that's how we got Sistah Samurai. That is the
Yeah.
story.
Man, if people watching this video haven't read Sistah Samurai, they really should. There's such a great, fun book. That's a book like I discovered. I think it came out in late 2023, right? But
Yes, correct.
but somehow as I was checking it, the publication dates yesterday, I was like, wow, it's been almost 2 years already. I can't believe it. I feel like that was just yesterday it came out. And, that was one of the books in 2024 that really shook me. I'm so lucky to be talking with you right now and last week, Adrian Gibson, because those are the two, not debut in your case, but the two author discoveries I made last year that I really loved from the cover reveal.
Oh,
And it's so
yeah.
exciting when you have a nice cover reveal. The blurb is nice, and you get into the book, and you're like, "Yes, it's good." I love it. It's not always the case, right? So,
That's true.
so you and Adrian were my two discovery of 2024. That really made my year in terms of reading. Sorry, and this is a book that has a personality, and this personality is clear from the cover and the typography and the title and the blurb. You know exactly what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a character that takes no shit.
Yes,
she
yes.
is badass. So I'm terrible with remembering name. Her name is Sistah, right? So is she named? I feel like I don't read her name so often, right? In the book.
Yeah, so she's referred to as Sister Samurai.
Yeah.
Um, But her name is revealed later into the book. But it's, as you said, it's been out since 2023. So her name is Monique. So they call her Sister Monique. But you know, like
That's right.
I did that intentionally to have that
Yeah.
reveal of the name because you know, you're in Japan, right? First names, that's not very
That's not what
common.
people use the most. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to honor that a little bit.
Plus, there's a, no spoiler, but the ending reveals a lot of things, right? So you don't want to tell too much
Yeah.
about the character until the end. But yeah, so the Sistah Samurai is a badass character. She has such a strong voice, very very unique. And from page one, I feel like that's the kind of book, from page one if you're gonna love it or if you shouldn't. If you're like,
Yeah.
what is this about? So,
I always love doing that though. I always tell people if you can get through the first page, this is the book for you. I always make the first page to be like,
but that,
you're my audience.
this is perfect, actually. You know what? It's like, I keep saying, but like the first 2 or 3 pages need to tell the reader what the story is about. You need to give something to the reader, because if they need to struggle through 20, 30 pages before it starts, many people, especially for debut writers or fairly unknown writers, they are just going to give up. Right. So as long as your name is not recognized, and as a writer, make it very fast at the beginning. And you did that from basically first line, So, so actually, let's talk about the readership for Sistah Samurai. Who do you think this book is for? So what is your readership?
So I wrote it intentionally for Black women nerds, for Black women who grew up watching anime and kind of never really seen themselves represented in it. For example, we do have Afro Samurai, which we have a Black main character in it, but the female representation was not very good in that show. Or you even have like the historical Samurai Yasuke. So you do have these representations of Blackness within Japanese culture, but there hasn't been a lot of representation for Black women, and that is a space that I wanted to give, especially for us nerdy girls who grew up watching anime, grew up watching, loving fantasy, but also wanted to see us be awesome
represented in it. Yeah.
Exactly, and chop things down too. But also an extension, I'm also aware that the people who have gravitated to it and the people who love the book, it does kind of capture a wider audience. People who love like Asian fantasy really enjoy it. People who love just kind of like Black fantasy, or especially I have a lot of audience from comic books who also have enjoyed the book, and I think it's because it's one of those books that easy to get into even if you're not a huge fantasy fan.
And the fact that it's a novella also helps readers that don't traditionally gravitate towards, big novels, big chunky series. It's really easy to start and to get hooked on. And so, yeah, because I'm obviously not the readership you just mentioned, but I loved your book. So, like, I think anyone who is into, those kinds of, anime in general, but like, especially those bit of quirky anime that don't respect the boundaries of the traditional anime world or manga world will love this one. Obviously, I thought about Afro Samurai while reading it, but also about Samurai Champloo, still my favorite anime ever. You can feel I'm a bit old because Samurai.
Well, it's one of my favorite. Well, Cowboy Bebop's my number one, but Samurai Champloo is close.
So which one is number one? I didn't hear.
Cowboy Bebop is my number one.
Cowboy Bebop.
Samurai Champloo is close.
Okay, you respect the classics. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think you think I'm younger than what I look.
That might be true. I'm not gonna ask. But for me, Samurai Champloo was still is the greatest anime ever made. A series, at least. Let's call it among series. You definitely had that beat in Sistah Samurai. Even though you don't have a lot of Black characters in Samurai Champloo, I actually don't remember any. Is there?
No, but it has the vibe.
It has the vibe. It has the music. It has the beat, right? So, and it is also in Sistah Samurai. So anyone who loved those anime, those mangas, will really like Sistah Samurai. Now, this character, the whole book, actually, like I said, it has a personality, but it has also a voice. And is it your voice? Because I must say, whenever I watch interviews with you, and I watched a few, like including the awesome one you did with SSF Addicts for talking about building community.
Yes, yeah.
That was such a great talk, by the way. I don't hear Sistah Samurai, right? You're a bit more shy than she would be the way I perceive her. So, but would you say this is your voice?
So for the voice, it is a little inspired by Afro Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
And the anime Afro Samurai, one of the most defining moments of it is Samuel L. Jackson's voicing of Afro.
Hey, that a motherfucking RPG? You got a motherfucking RPG? A RPG in a motherfucking backpack? Wait, can we talk about this?
So I knew I definitely wanted a strong voice. But also one thing I wanted as well was to kind of celebrate Ebonics or African American English.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like I do switch, right? Like code switch. So and I'm sure you understand like going from one language to another and going from different cultures to another culture. So you do have the professional voice, but
you also have No, I get it.
Yes. And so the voice is very authentic to Ebonics. Like a lot of the grammar structure is what you would find how Black people talk here in America.
But like, do you have like a specific part of America in mind when you say that? Because the Black community from one city will not speak the same as from
That's
another
true.
state, right? So
that's true. So it's mostly Southern.
Southern, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know. I mean, I'll be frank here. I'm from countryside of France, right? Not a lot of Black folks speaking English there. But when I came to Japan as a foreign student, I lived in a university in a dormitory with like many foreigners all living together, 50 people from all over the world. And you had a lot of Black guys and girls from US. And that was so amazing to be talking with them and realizing those differences in language. Like one of my good friends was from Georgia, and his English was completely different from the guy coming from like a North Carolina or, of whom there were many, by the way. I don't know what happens in North Carolina, but everyone was coming to Japan. I'm guessing that was just an exchange program stuff. So the English was very different. So the one you have in mind when you write Sistah Samurai's voice is more Southern.
Right. Yes. Yeah. The rhythm that I talk with my family. Because even my mom, she read the book and she was like, Tatiana, there are a lot of like very specific
Sounds
where
like
the city
me.
that I'm from, like isms in there. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it.
So yeah, I think that's the thing that I should mention to people who haven't read Sistah Samurai is, even though it's a book that's set in Japanese historical inspired world, you do have a lot of modern slang and words. Like one of the characters I remember loving reading is like the brother monks and arriving with a do-rag. And I'm like, what am I reading right now? And it fits awesomely. I absolutely adored this. Like, and there is a reason for that, right? It makes a lot of sense as you read, but so don't be disturbed by it. This is not historical fiction, right? Like,
no, embrace,
exactly,
embrace the chaos,
embrace the quirkiness of this situation. Like, where is this taking place? I have no idea. So, who would narrate in the perfect world? You can make this as an anime. Who would you like to narrate this story?
I was thinking maybe Regina King. She's done a lot of iconic voices in animation. So I would definitely love getting her. It's very interesting because I am about to work on doing an audiobook for Sistah Samurai. So this has like been in my head. Like And it's one of the things that's very hard because, as you said, the voice is very specific.
Yeah.
And if I don't get the voice right, the audiobook is not going to work. So,
No, exactly. This is such a voiced story. That's a first-person story, so which is always harder, I guess, for when it comes to find narrators. But on top of it, yeah, this one is so specific. If you don't find the right person, it's not going to work. I know I'm the same. I tried to find narrators for Undead Samurai, but I need someone who knows Japanese. And this is incredibly hard to find someone who can pronounce Japanese words correctly or even has this tiny bit of accent that gives the authenticity. So I'm guessing you go through the same.
I have to write out the pronunciation because even I cringe when I'm like, oh, that's not right. Oh no, that's not right.
I know.
Oh, no.
Because right? But other people's might not even really notice. But yeah, as the writer, you can't have that. I understand.
Yeah.
So talking of pronunciation, your name is pronounced Tatiana Obi, right? So
yes, correct.
That is this the real pronunciation, or did you just decide that's how to pronounce it so it sounds Japanese?
That's funny. So when I was in Japan, I had a lot of questions, and they were like, "Are you half Japanese?" Because my name sounded so Japanese. But no. So my name is an odd Louisiana Creole mix. So it does have French in its background.
So Cajun or something like this.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So kind of like Beyonce, right? It's not Beyonce, it's Beyonce. So they're kind of the same idea.
I can't believe you just compared yourself to Beyonce, right? Wow. So we come from very similar familial backgrounds. Okay. All right. I didn't know that. I'm not a big follower of singers and everything in general, so I didn't know. It's pretty cool to know, though. But so because I think on your website you actually wrote it's pronounced OB, and I was like, as a French person, I'm like, yeah, obviously. What else was it? So how do people say it usually? So obey. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. That sounds bad actually when you say it like this. No.
Exactly.
Right. OB sounds so much cooler. So, all right, back to Sistah Samurai. So on Amazon, the tagline for Sistah Samurai is Afro Samurai meets the Sword of Kaigen in this anime-inspired novella. And I love every word in that sentence, but it begs the question, what anime? So we mentioned Afro Samurai and Samurai Champloo. Any other inspiration, either behind Sistah Samurai itself or behind your writing in general?
I had mentioned earlier that one of my favorite animes is Cowboy Bebop. Because that, like Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop also has a rhythm to it. And I don't know if that's just something that I gravitate towards. But then also the character introspection and the hyper focus on character in Cowboy Bebop and the way that the character's kind of introduced. For example, even in Samurai Champloo, even in Cowboy Bebop, you never really get the full backgrounds of these characters. It's always very slivers of their past. And that's kind of always stuck to me, right? It's like the mysterious stranger, the mysterious samurai that's come into the village. You don't get his whole history or his whole background because that's not what's important.
I think those were great animes that didn't have enough time, to talk about everything regarding the characters. One of the first ones I remember a bit like this was Trigun. And
yes,
so
which is also heavily Western inspired.
True. Yeah. It is very Western inspired. You're right, but that was the same. You get a bit of a history regarding the two characters, like the twins, if I remember, but then you straight go to I forgot 15, 20 years later, and you don't really know what happened in between. It doesn't matter. The guy's awesome. His body is hanging out with a cross, huge cross on it. Oh, that was really cool. All right, you're not as young as you look then. I can see.
No.
Good to know.
I'll tell you after the recording.
Sure. Keep it for now. Let's not make it public. But yeah, so all right, so Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, and maybe a bit of Trigun and all
Yeah.
those things. Do you watch anything recently? Did you watch anything recently that you feel is amazing, deserves to be next to those anime?
You know, I thought Blue Eyed Samurai was very good.
Yeah.
That was great. I really enjoyed, in many ways, it reminds me a little bit of Sistah Samurai, but it's
Mhm.
looking at samurai tropes specifically through a female lens,
Mm.
which I thought it did very brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I've watched some other animes that I don't know if I put us beside it. I don't know. I'm very a classicist.
Those young ones that just don't know how to make animes anymore.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
I'm enjoying Apothecary Diaries.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go see the Demon Slayer movie this weekend.
Oh, nice. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah,
No.
I need to.
Yeah, I do enjoy a good spectacle, and a good fight scene and an animated fight scene. So those are
Is
always fun to watch.
by the way, just curious here, is Demon Slayer how is it rated in US? In the US, is it like a PG something, or I don't know how you guys call it?
Oh, I honestly don't know.
Because it's bloody, right? It's crazy violent, but like all the kids here watch it, and I'm always so
Same
amazed.
here too.
Right? But are they allowed? I mean, here they talk about it in class with the teacher, right? So I'm always so surprised when my son come back and they're like, "Oh yeah, my friend, all my friends went to watch it in the cinema." I was like, "Oh."
It is rated R. Now that I'm looking.
So, but here they have like a bento box for kindergarten kids themed Demon Slayer and everything. It shows at 6 p.m. On the TV and everything. Oh. All right,
That's hilarious.
Sorry, I was just curious. Went out from the conversation.
No,
here.
I don't think the elementary school kids aren't watching Demon Slayer. I feel like the middle school,
All right.
high school age. Yeah.
Yeah, they shouldn't anyway. They shouldn't watch it so young.
No.
It's crazy. Like it's an amazing anime. It shouldn't be for kids. That's just what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And then other anime I recently watched was Vinland Saga and then Jujutsu Kaisen. So I watched that. So I enjoy the shonen.
No, but that's good. They still make a lot of amazing stuff. Like last year, I don't watch as much as I used to, but last year I watched Kaiju 8. That was really cool too. Yeah, I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, but everyone says it's amazing, so I should try.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll take your word for it because you love good classics.
How it compares to the class.
But nothing compares to the classic, So, while so I think when we started talking, we had a bit of miscommunication because I was like, let's talk about a genre mashup. And you were like, yeah, but Sistah Samurai isn't a genre mashup. And I was like, that's true. It's a cultural mashup. And this is something that we don't see very often, especially in a way that's obvious and well made at the same time. But why do you think it works so well, especially in the case of this Afro samurai blend of cultures? Every time you like Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, that's the same. It's Japanese and this American black culture mixed together, and it works so well. Why? How come it works so well?
I mean, like, to the mangakakas that came up with it, and decided to do it. I was like, and I guess that's what makes them genius and unique. Watanabe, and he did the Samurai Champloo, and I don't think I would have ever imagined hip hop and elements of hip hop and breakdancing and graffiti and in feudal Japan. I don't think I would have ever envisioned it until he did it first, and then it's like, okay,
perfect.
Perfect.
It fits. No, but I agree with you. This is that was such an eye opener. This anime, seriously, about how well those two cultures that really don't feel like they should fit, because one is really about strict rules, like a very straight, for example, music. It's very codified, and then the black culture of America. Sorry if I'm saying things in a manner that are not respectful or anything. I'm just not used to talking this kind of topics in English. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever. So those two cultures, they don't on the paper, they don't look like they should fit, and they fit so perfectly. And maybe that's because they are so different.
They are so different. But, there's a big history here, especially in regards to Black culture and Asian culture, and specifically, especially Chinese and Japanese, because back in the day, like before the movie industry, before we even had Black films, before we had Blaxploitation films, we got a lot of Asian films were Bruce Lee, and when those films came out, it had a huge Black audience. And that was the first time the movie industry here realized, oh, Black people go to the movies. Oh, they spend money. It wasn't until then where we got the Blaxploitation films and we got like more Black focused characters. But because of that, a lot of the older generation, like my dad and a lot of Black men, they grew up on Bruce Lee. They grew up on Asian films. They grew up on samurai films. So like that, I grew up with that. Like, I grew up with my dad watching like, a Chinese film with no subtitles. I'm like, do you understand what they're saying? No, I'm just watching it.
Doesn't
I'm like,
matter.
okay.
I just want to see how they kick.
Yeah, exactly. So there's been a very long cultural exchange for quite a while. But in regards to like properties that show that cultural exchange, we don't have a lot. So that's why it was very celebratory when I did see Samurai Champloo. Because one thing, there's a difference between cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation. And you can see like how much research Samurai Champloo like went into that in regards to the hip hop elements and how it was implemented and the way it was used to tell this specific story. So you can tell there is appreciation there, and that's exactly the same that I wanted to do. And it is a genre that was back in the 90s, and I hadn't seen it again. I'm like, I want to bring this back. Like, I want to bring this back. And yeah, it is such a visual medium, as you said, that bridging that Black culture with that Japanese culture and bringing just a new visual to things, to the genre.
That's very true. And like specifically about the music, because I don't know how much of it people know outside of Japan, but Japanese people are a huge fan of jazz and blues. And like when you hang out in some neighborhoods in Japan, like in the evening, you can hear jazz concerts like in basements and all of this. And in Shibuya, I'm going sometimes to some like jazz bars and stuff like this. But they are perfectionists in the way they play jazz.
But that's also like for example, in the ramen scene in the book, there is Inca music, because to me that's very jazzy, and like it's also a callback to that exchange.
So maybe that's why the music, the music fits so well in, let's say, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, and all of this. Plus, they had Nujabes, who was such a great DJ. He created the whole genre of music around this anime, right?
Yeah, lo-fi hip hop. Yeah.
So exactly. So I think when I started reading Sistah Samurai, I had this kind of lo-fi hip hop in the background of my head without listening to music. I usually read without too much music. This time the music came by itself. So, so again, if you're the kind of person who likes lo-fi hip hop in the background, Sistah Samurai is for you. That's another way to define your readership, by music that they like. So I wonder if there could be any other culture mashup like this, like that could be really interesting.
Well, we, in a way, what I'm seeing is this is kind of like on a wave, like it's coming back. So for example, like big artists like Megan Thee Stallion, she's done a lot of collaboration with Japanese artists very recently for her newest album.
Yeah,
and
she's
so
coming to Japan too. She's going to live in Japan, right?
Yeah, so you're starting to see this collaboration among music. You're starting to see this collaboration among comic artists. You're starting to see this collaboration among kind of like gamers. Like there's something happening in this space, and it's really exciting. And so I think this is just going to be a rising trend, personally.
I hope so, but I want to be surprised as well. Like new mashups that no one really worked with before. I mean, I can't imagine, because even in novels now, we do have like fantasy set in like Africa, historical like sub-Saharan Africa, or you have movies that didn't do very well, but with the Romans, ancient Rome and ancient China together. This one didn't fit, but let's keep trying. Let's keep trying new things here. Like Vikings meet samurai. That can only work, right?
Yeah, or even like just food. Like Japanese curry is its own thing. Like it's very separate from regular like Indian curry. It's its own fusion, unique thing.
So should I guess that you actually really like Japanese curry then? Or...
Yeah, I like food.
So food, cultural mashup. Yeah, that's a big thing as well. So we need, video games, novels, food, music, all of this. We need more cultural mashup in the world. I think that would be a good way to heal as well. The world right now that is kind of closing on itself. Everyone is going back to their own cultures. More mashup. We need more mashup. You hear new writers out there. If you're looking for a good idea for a book, find a new way to mix cultures together.
Yes, with respect and research.
Yeah,
and education.
Culture appreciation. Exactly. Yeah. Not appropriation. From a white guy from France who is writing books about China and Japan, I can tell you that's a big part of the process, research and respect. Yeah. So beside anime or movies and video games, all of this, what inspired you to write Sistah Samurai? Was there, if it's not going in too much into your private life, basically, is there a reason behind Sistah Samurai?
Yeah. My mom and the people around me, because I love the fantasy genre, but I also didn't feel like the fantasy genre had given representation to just the people around me. Like the mothers, the aunties, the uncles. I don't get to see them in fantasy novels, and I wanted them in fantasy novels. So, like, even the character of Monique, she's very heavily inspired by my mom. And it is this kind of metaphor, and this is this kind of parallel for like what Black women go through in America and how we kind of move through the world, and kind of just wanting to like honor that journey and kind of celebrate that journey as well.
From what little I read about the return of Sistah Samurai, there is a lot of that as well, right? I think the story goes a bit away from the central character from Monique and to around more characters from the same world. Is it? I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. But this is the feeling the cover, the blurb gave me. So,
yes. Yeah. So we are, because in the first book we have kind of like this, just the destruction of the order, the clan of Sistah Samurai, and the second book is about rebuilding the clan, the return of. So we do have like two new sisters, and it is, I wanted to write an intergenerational story because you don't see younger Black women in fantasy. You don't see older Black women in fantasy, and how they interact and how they mentor each other, and just wanting to depict that and wanting to represent that, and just being like, yeah, we're awesome and badass, all ages, even with our flaws and our mistakes.
Because of that, actually. So, I mean, I understand. I think I understand a little of what you're trying to say here, because I can't really, I can't tell you, oh yeah, completely. But I remember watching the Pixar movie Red, Seeing Red. I forgot, with the red panda and everything, and towards the end of the movie, you have all the aunts. So it's the story of a little girl of Chinese origins living in like Vancouver in the early 2000s. So you get a lot about the traditional side of the Chinese, her Chinese family, and then toward the end of the movie, her aunts and grandma come from China to Vancouver, and I knew all those characters. Sorry, I should say my wife is Chinese, so I often go to see my family in China as well, and I recognize all of those characters into one of my aunt or great aunts or whatever. So. And watching this movie, I realized, you don't have a lot of representation for like this generation of Asian women, and that was so refreshing to recognize the members of my family in this movie. So I can imagine how.
Yes, that's exactly the
Yeah.
same thing. I wanted
Yeah.
people to recognize the members of their family.
And people who usually don't get much,
Yeah.
representation in fiction or movies or video games or whatever. But I think we are going there as a society. You get a lot more stories revolving around central characters that didn't used to be represented as much. It's not there yet, but it's going towards.
Yeah, we're gonna fight for
Well,
it. Get it there.
You put your stone on this wall, and the second one with the return of the samurai, of the Sistah Samurai. So well done, Tatiana.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk a bit about the writing process, because how did you feel writing a novella compared to writing the novels from before? How much faster does it go?
You know, like, it's weird because I think, especially Sistah Samurai, I think it was just something that has kind of been sitting on me for a while, for a long time, kind of percolating in my head. So it was probably the easiest thing I've ever written. Like, it's just like, okay, it took me honestly 3 months to write, and probably after beta reader feedback another month, so like 4 months in total to write Sistah Samurai. And it was just, and like I said, my duology took me 4 years. So and I had at this point has still been experimenting with short form. I'm very comfortable with long form. So like novellas and short stories, that has definitely been something to like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself as a writer. You know, like I want to be able to have some more tools in my toolbox, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm glad people enjoy it, and like it's a complete story, and it's definitely, because again, it has that anime feel to it. Afro Samurai was a mini series. You know, it has a very beginning and end. It was kind of like a TV. It definitely was the length of a TV show in my head.
Yeah. No, I mean, usually I feel like a lot of writers, they do the opposite. They start with short stories, novella, then they move to bigger stuff. But you already had the experience of writing a full-length novella, and then it's a nice break to write a novella. I know I'm the same. I published 10 books, and the 2 of them are novellas, and I just barely remember writing them compared to the others, because it went so fast. You start, and my writing day is usually 2,000 to 3,000 words per day. So, which means for a novella, it's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, really?
Of active writing. Yeah.
You're so fast.
For the first draft, right? And after that, I take forever to edit and re-edit, and the same beta readers, and then editors, and then ARC readers, and all of this. But it's like everything is condensed. So like everything is twice shorter. And, and it feels amazing after a few regular-ish size novels to write a novella.
And it's such an accomplishment. Like, I completed something.
Yeah, exactly. It's finished. Yeah. You know, it's like it's just like this, but it's finished. Yeah, no. Plus, it looks so good. Like that was Felix who did the cover.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I still haven't had I think it's a rite of passage in the self-published industry to have Felix Ortiz drawing a cover.
Yeah, I was definitely very, very lucky, because I had pitched the idea to him and he was very excited. And I think what helped me out was that he was also an Afro Samurai fan. So he, you know, like he had the idea and he had the style that I was looking for. But I was on his wait list for a year, and I was like, I'm gonna wait for this cover. Right.
I think that's why I haven't worked with him yet. It's because of the waiting list now. He's so busy. Ask him in advance. Yeah, but yeah, he did so many like really cool covers with this Japanese or East Asian inspired image. So, but yeah, Sistah Samurai was really cool. The cover reveal, that was one of those moments, like I said earlier, that defined 2023, 2024. You're like, yes, we need more Japanese stuff. And I was just pushing for Undead Samurai at this moment, and there was this really cool, I would say, few moments on Reddit and everything where people were asking like, hey, do you any recommendation for Japanese inspired stuff? And people were like, well, you have Rob Hayes and Tatiana and Baptiste, and that was like coming back a few times. I was like, I'm among them. That was really cool. Yeah, that's
I'm
really
not
cool.
even on Reddit. I didn't even know this.
Oh, you should
We're the
check.
trifecta.
Yeah, exactly. No, but a few times. All right, I'm not trying to make myself into something big here, but like they on Reddit, it happened a few times that Sistah Samurai, Never Die, and Undead Samurai were recommended at the same time. I think actually Rob is the one who recommends them all the time. So thank you very much, Rob, if you ever watch this video. Very
Yeah.
much appreciated.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to your books, but you write
You
a lot.
haven't?
I
I'm
still
kidding. I'm kidding.
have to I have to start at the first one. Like I can't go out of order in regards to like authors. I have to start
Yeah. Well,
with Yellow Sky Revolt.
but I don't know. I don't know if you. I mean, Yellow Sky Revolt is very different from Undead Samurai, right? Those are two completely different stories, different vibe. So if you don't have much time, start with Undead Samurai. It's a standalone.
No, but I also don't read a lot of Three Kingdoms inspired works
Yeah, there
either.
are just not a lot. So okay. Plus, good timing. I just remade it. I just re-edited or updated the text because that was god awful at the end, so I couldn't read it anymore. So, but yeah, sure, please. I would love to know what you think of it, and the others as well. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You write one of my favorite genres. I'm so excited to get to it.
Thank you very much.
I just have to stop. Need some time out of my writing to get there.
Oh my god, yeah. That's the curse of writing is no more time for reading, or whenever I do have time for reading, I usually spend it on research, so nonfiction, things that are related more or less to what I'm writing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what have you read recently that you would recommend?
So I have recently read some books.
Good.
I heavily recommend The Spirit That Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Like I read it earlier in the year and it's still my top book I've read this year. It is really a celebration of oral storytelling, and he uses written storytelling to just masterful effect to show that off. It's just from a storyteller's point of view, it's such a fascinating book to read.
All right. Really cool.
Yeah.
Didn't have this one on my TBR yet. Thank you. So for me, I recommend recently, I mean, I've read it couple of months ago now, The Daughter's War by Christopher Buehlman.
I haven't read that one yet.
Such a scary book. So he wrote two books, right? The Daughter's War, which is like this, technically he wrote it after The Black Tongue Thief, but so Black Tongue Thief happens after The Daughter's War. So you can read whichever you want first. I guess it doesn't really matter, but The Daughter's War is so gritty, so like scary. The goblins are like atrocious in this book. So I quite loved it. So yeah. That's my recommendation. Sorry, no one asked me, but I'm asking myself. So,
no, we need to know. We need to know the books to read.
So, any advice? What advice do you like to give to writers, especially writers who haven't published yet but are dreaming of publishing their books at some point?
To write. And the advice that I gave earlier as well, to show people you're writing. That's the fastest way you grow. In addition to not only to write, but to get to the end. Because you can't edit something that isn't finished. You can't revise something that isn't finished. Which is very, very, hard to do. Like, even though you look at indie publishing, you look at all the books that have been published, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of books. But, there's a lot of people that start stories but never finish stories. And just, putting that dedication in. Because if you finish that book and then you publish it, guess what? You're going to have to write another one.
If people like the first, especially,
if people like the first one.
Yeah. But that's true. I guess a lot of people just don't finish their first book, but once you finish the first book, you realize, that wasn't so bad. You forget how impossible that was all along. And it's only when you start the second one, you're like, how am I going to go through this again? But if you finish the first, you know that you can do it, and it's not as impossible as it may look at the beginning. So, all right, finish your book, show it to people, and yeah, don't expect it to be perfect, I guess, from the beginning. And that's the thing. Okay, be careful about the people you show it to, or at least be careful how you receive their comments.
That's true. That's true.
That
Because very often, not everyone who's giving you comment or giving you critique is your audience. So for example, with Sistah Samurai, is a very specific thing. And like there are, it has some critiques and some, but all these choices I stand behind because they're intentional choices and they're often intentional for the audience. For example, I think one of the critiques of the first one is like, oh, well, why don't we realize what her goal is or her motivation is toward the end of the novel? And why is that kind of delayed and why is that stretched out? And my answer is, you don't know a lot of Black women. In order for this to be faithful to the story, it has to be faithful to the character. And out of caution and out of just the way that we live in this society, we are a lot more kind of insular. And I wanted that to be shown in the book, and I wanted that to be reflected in the book. And so sometimes the reason why you're doing things and you're breaking things is to, show and reflect a very specific environment and very specific existence. And if you have an audience that doesn't understand that, then you want to always be careful and to be, true to your audience, be true to the story that you're writing, but also still be able to take in feedback that you're like, oh, okay, this feedback is going to help me strengthen what I'm trying to say. This feedback is going to help me strengthen the story that I'm trying to write. So sometimes you do have to kind of navigate different feedbacks. One of the things that helped me was when I asked for beta readers, I asked them, do you watch anime? What's your favorite anime? Have you seen Afro Samurai? Because that helps me when people go into things or go into the book and they're like, well, what is this? What is this? Like, oh, see, that's an anime reference that the reader might not necessarily know. Is this reference something I should take out because it stops the reading from people who aren't aware of it? Or is it something that I can keep and stay in because it's a fun Easter egg for those people who know? So kind of being able to toggle those things and toggle critique and toggle the way that you're receiving critique, especially if you're writing a book with an audience that's
very specific, an audience in mind that has its way of reading or appreciate a different kind of story. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I know that was also my struggle with Blood of the Kami, one of my latest book, because I had published 6-7 books that were very adult, very tends to be quite bloody and brutal and everything. Then I was like, okay, I want to do something with more of a YA feeling, young adult feeling to it. Same, like anime inspired. So I sent it to my usual beta readers, but I told them, I said, listen, that's different, right? And half of them came back like, man, I couldn't finish it. Like I DNF'd, and I was like, oh, so I was like, okay, maybe it's not a great book. I'll shelve it. But I just gave it a last push. And this time I asked for beta readers that I never worked with. And I say, hey, anyone into YA, an anime kind of story, would anyone like to read this? And, I think 90% of them came back saying that was great, like maybe you can change this and that, So yeah, it's about when you show your writing to the world, make sure, at first, make sure the people you show it to, can give you good feedback, the feedback you need, Doesn't mean you shouldn't respect the others' comments as well. They might be right too, but not always.
Yeah, that's a very great example of even like how genre changes in regards to age range and the way that people receive it.
Yeah, plus, go on Goodreads, check your favorite books. They have a lot of 1-star reviews as well. And some of them even make sense sometimes. So everyone gets critiqued. So brings me to my last question for you, Tatiana. And now we can get to it. What is next for you? Please expand.
I did start with that, didn't I?
Right, you did.
I think because I'm working on it now, and like it's a
It's
project that I'm
always there.
really
Yeah.
excited about. It is in my A Forging of Age series. It is in a different place in my Forging of Age series, and I'm excited about it because this one is new adult. So this duology is new adult,
Mhm.
but the next one in the series is adult. So it's a great adult entry into this series,
Mhm.
and it is a kind of a sword and sorcery novel, but the focus of it is kind of cultural exchange and cross-cultural friendships, which is something that I haven't seen a lot done in
Mm.
fantasy,
Yeah.
in regards to, making friendships across language barriers. And that really is this friendship in this sword and sorcery adventure is definitely the focus of the story, and I am really excited to share it because it's just something I haven't read, and I was like, I want it to
You
show.
will. Yeah. I
Yeah.
understand. So when is that? When do you think you will publish it? I know
Speaking
you're
speaking of timelines,
yeah.
so this book is currently about 200,000 words.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a
Not
long
a
book.
novella.
No. So because of that, it takes longer to get it proofread. It takes longer
Mm.
to get a copy edited. It takes longer to get it from beta readers. So I'm not 100% sure of the timeline yet because I have not published a book of this size before.
Yeah.
Um, but I have the cover. I'm going to reveal the cover in like probably next month.
Oh, fast.
And
So fast. Yeah.
but it'll probably be out sometime next year, hopefully.
All
It'll,
right.
it'll be done. Just regards to the publishing timeline.
All right. Really cool. Oh, well, I'm excited to first see the cover and then what comes with it. And I guess a lot of people will maybe enter this Forging of Edge duology in order to get ready to read the next one that is more adult
Yeah.
in the genre. All right. Thank you very much, Tatiana, for your time today. That was so cool meeting you and talking about, gushing about our favorite anime and all of this. So anyone who hasn't read it yet, please go check Sistah Samurai. It's a quick read. It's fantastic. There is such a strong voice. I think we've said it all in this interview, but it was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you.